We've got a great show lined up for you today. Happy to have you here. For those of you new to the show, this show is all about live streaming, video technology, video production, and best practices for content creators. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, you've come to the right place.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk about the videos we always get a ton of traction on are when we talk about our Webcaster X2. So today's no different. We're going to talk a little bit about how to use a USB camera alongside your HDMI camera with it. So effectively a two-camera setup with a Webcaster. So this is a beta feature. So we're going to try it out today and see what works and what doesn't work, and we hope that you'll try and do the same and let us know. So,
yeah, and of course this is a live show, which means that we're monitoring chat. So if you have questions, if you want to interact with us, please throw your comments, suggestions, feedback right into chat, and we'll respond live on the show. So, housekeeping note, we wanted to promote our show next week. We're actually going to be doing a streams review show. So
yeah, that's going to be
what's
fun.
that all about?
So we want you to send us any of your live shows, your live streams, any kind of live video that you're doing, and we're going to talk about it on the show. So we want to talk about what's working and what's not working and what's inspiring.
Yeah.
And
send us your live streaming setups. We'd love to see them. We've already gotten a few people who've sent us some of their setups. Some people are doing some pretty cool things with the Webcaster. So we want to show off what you guys are doing and promote what you guys are doing with Webcaster.
Either from a technical point of view or from a content point of view, because the industry is changing all the time, and so we kind of want to know what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So that's coming up next week, right? That's the show for next week?
Yeah,
okay.
So that'll be next week. So send us your streams right now after this show. Obviously, watch the show first and then send us your streams. Another housekeeping note. There's a great chance to win a very, very cool 4K 360-degree camera by Kodak. And all you have to do is register and vote for us on the Streaming Media Awards. So Epiphan's actually been nominated in 5 different categories for the Streaming Media Awards, which is a publication covering streaming video content. Streaming media, pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. So what have we been nominated in? Best capture hardware, best live encoding hardware. The Webcaster X2 is up for a couple of awards.
Yeah, there's some Pearl stuff, some Webcaster stuff.
Number of things. So go on to, we've got a link in the YouTube video description that will take you to where you can enter the contest and vote for us. And if you're on Facebook, we're going to spam chat with that link as well.
That's over here.
Yes. So go ahead and enter in, win yourself a 4K 360 camera. Super cool.
Yeah, I see that's already in the comments there. That's great.
So yeah, George, studio.
Yeah, we got balloons.
Looking pretty festive today.
Yes, today is our 25th show. So we got balloons, and we're also going to do another part of the show today. We're going to hammer through 25 tips, things we've learned. So that's what the golden, or the beautiful green bucket is
Yes, the
for
return of our famous green bucket. We're happy to have it back on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, as more of you start watching the show, it's becoming more and more popular, slowly. We're happy to have you here. But speaking of popular,
Webcaster
X2. Yeah. So, a lot of people are talking about Webcaster X2 because, well, it is our newest device. It's a very aggressive price point. If you want to get into live streaming, this is the easiest way to get started. And we wanted to just share some additional ways that you can actually use this device.
Yeah. So most people, when they get their Webcaster, the one thing we promote and how people are using it is they plug in an HDMI video source. In this case, we have a GoPro camera plugged in, and they can stream that to YouTube or Facebook. But there is also a beta feature. You'll see it, and Dan's going to walk us through that in a minute about how to enable a USB camera. So that means you could do switching between your HDMI camera and a USB camera. So this is a beta feature. We don't know which USB cameras are supported.
There's so many USB
There's so many of them, and we've had some that work and some that don't. So it's not a home run that it's going to work. So just do a little testing and make sure it's going to work.
Exactly. Borrow one from someone else, or there's lots of test it. I've tried it with a few different webcams, and so far I've been fortunate. All the webcams I've tried have worked, and I even have some pretty old ones that work just fine.
Okay, that's good.
But why don't we dive in? I'm going to pull this monitor over here. So I'll explain the setup that we've got going on here at the desk. So we actually have, of course, our Webcaster, and I'm actually going to start my stream. So I'm streaming live to...
So wait, before you even get in, can you tell people what are they looking at?
Okay, so here's what we're looking at. So we've got Webcaster X2. We've got a GoPro HERO5 plugged into Webcaster using HDMI. And then I have this external monitor plugged into Webcaster as well. So
the HDMI out from this device here, right?
correct. And that's one of the great features of Webcaster X2 is that you can plug in a monitor and be able to see your shot live. It really helps you.
Yeah.
You can see your viewer.
You see comments and such when they come in. In this case, there won't be any because we're streaming privately. But
yeah, I'm just streaming to my sort of dummy YouTube account that I use for testing. But yeah, we've got a stream that's live right now. So Lisa, why don't you switch over to our Webcaster? So now you're seeing exactly what the Webcaster is streaming. Okay, so you can see the back of the studio.
UI, so
say hi, Lisa. Wave. Hey. See some of the Epiphan team back there. I'm going to turn the camera around. And now you should be seeing us as the Webcaster is streaming right now.
Sort of. Webcaster streaming plus the UI, like elements.
Exactly.
You know
So I can minimize the UI, but I'm going to actually use that for a second because I want to show you guys what's going on here. So we've got some options here down in the settings. So I'm going to go into Preferences, and you see this little tick box here on the right. It says Enable USB Camera Beta. You want to go ahead and tick that option. Now, once you've done that, it allows you to actually, you see my picture-in-picture, I've got this webcam here. So say hello,
Cool.
webcam. This is a little bit of inception happening because we're obviously looking at multiple cameras. Picture-in-picture. But as you can see, we've got two cameras. So we've got our HDMI GoPro, and we've got our USB webcam. And this is just I think it's a Microsoft HD webcam, nothing too special about it.
We can find out what kind it is and put it in the description so you know at least one that works. And I know the C920.
The Logitech
C920, I think that one has proven to work.
Yeah, George is telling me that that's like the most popular webcam ever.
There is, yeah, so.
And we've tested it, it works with Webcaster X2. So why don't we, we'll go back to our main camera for a second, Lisa. So yeah, this is a pretty cool setup. Just wanted to get your idea. What do you think about this? You know, have you tried your Webcaster X2 yet? Have you tried this feature? Let us know in chat what kind of results you're getting, or if you've tried it with the webcam.
Yeah, because it's funny, every time we see people they're setting it up, right away they go in and they enable that USB camera mode and they play with it. So I know there's people who are using it. Somebody's asking us to share that stream that we're doing right now, and we will. We'll put it in the comments after.
I think I have it set up just privately right now, but what I'll do is after the show, I'll make it public and then share a link in the video description notes on YouTube. And by the way, on our YouTube, if you're watching the show on YouTube, take a look down in the video description notes because we've got a lot of extra information there. And if you want to find links to all the things that we're talking about on the show, you can, of course, find all of that information in the video description.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to show a couple other little tricks here. So I actually have, why don't we go back to our Webcaster?
That's where, we're getting a comment, sorry, that's saying the sync is not quite on when we show this layout.
Oh, okay. That's
because
right.
it's just we're looping through so much more gear, so our audio is not on the same as our video here. So there's a bit of a delay. So we'll probably limit, Lisa, how much we show that layout.
Yeah, why don't we'll go back to our main camera. So I want to show here, if you can sort of see, but I've got a few different things plugged into the back of Webcaster. I don't know if you can see on my monitor here, but...
Maybe, sorry, Lisa, go ahead. It's okay if there's a little bit of delay for this stuff.
Oh, yeah, I guess. So you'll see I've got this white USB. This is actually just a mouse and keyboard that I'm using here on the desk. And the reason I have that connected is actually because there's some key commands that you can use with Webcaster X2, which are pretty neat. So I'll show you what some of those commands are. Here, George, why don't I give you that camera and you can do whatever you want with it. Hey.
Look at that.
So many camera angles to choose from. So what you can do actually with the picture-in-picture is you can press tab to swap your sources. You can also, using your keyboard, use the number keys and reposition. Why don't I just remove the UI?
You can use any keyboard you want and do all these controls. So
yeah, so you can, you can move around. You can do a side-by-side. This is kind of a cool one. You can do one bigger, one smaller. If I actually go into the options as well, I'm going to go back into preferences for a moment here. You'll see all the key commands are labeled here within the settings menu. And you'll see there's some option here called transition. I'm going to go ahead and enable, let's go with a nice slow transition. I'll just demonstrate what that's all about. So, ooh, isn't that fancy? Okay, let's remove the UI just so it's, oh, look at that. You can move it to different parts of the screen. Page up, page down, you can actually adjust the transparency as well.
That's neat.
Which can be useful. And then using your home and end key on the keyboard, you can kind of like nudge the picture-in-picture around a little bit if you want to.
Yeah.
So some really neat keyboard commands. I can remove it as well if I want to just go back to
With the most basic
one camera only.
common one would be just to be able to do switching between two sources. Like, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. Why don't we go back to our main camera again, Lisa?
Sure.
So there you go, a little bit of a demonstration of what is possible with the USB webcam and Webcaster. Let us know what you think. Are you going to try this out? Have you tried it out already? Just one extra little perk. Now, of course, it is a beta feature, so because of the vast number of webcams that are out there that exist, we obviously can't test all of them here in our office, but we've tested quite a few and gotten good results. Let us know what cameras. Actually, if you want to leave a comment in the video, what camera you have and if you've tested, that would be great, because that can help everyone else know which cameras are working. But as far as I've tested, everything's been working out pretty well.
Okay, we got a question here from Mark. He says, what happens to the comments that show up in the Webcaster monitor? So if you pull up the
UI again?
If someone were to do a comment during the stream, it would show up in the UI here. So that doesn't help at all because of the funny layout. But we should really demo that, but we don't have it set up right here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm streaming to private right now.
And he said, do they disappear after a set time? And I think they just cycle through, so it'll show the last 7 comments or 5 comments or something, and then as a new one comes in, it'll just show the next one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up this picture-in-picture again, just move it around a bit. Yeah, so any other comments?
Someone says, can I do chroma keying from the webcam? No, you can't do chroma keying with this.
Unfortunately, Webcaster, this is designed to be a very cost-effective device. And although it is very powerful for its size and power consumption, it's really not designed to be, capable of doing chroma keying and advanced effects like that. If you wanted to do that, you can step up to something like our Pearl 2, which is a device that supports chroma key features, but obviously that's taking it up a notch. This is available for, what is it,
$299.
$299. This is less expensive than your cell phone.
Yeah.
So being able to do those advanced features, although it would be great, it's unfortunately just not possible with a device that only consumes 3 amps
right.
of power.
Yeah.
Scott's saying that he's tried it out and it works great.
Yeah,
so
that's
Scott,
awesome.
let us know what webcam you're using with your Webcaster. We'd love to know.
So if you have any other questions about the Webcaster and things you want us to try here, maybe we'll do a whole show about how to kit it out and all the things you can do with it.
Yeah.
People seem to really like that. So.
Yeah. Once again, send us your streams. We'd love to see your streams, and send us your Webcaster setups as well, because we've gotten a few people to send us their setups, and it's pretty cool to see what people have been able to kit out their Webcasters with.
So, it's our 25th episode. That means we have our 25 tips for you. So pull on the green bucket.
The return of the famous green bucket. This is we haven't used this in quite a few episodes, but
and we're gonna bang through these really fast. We have a timer to keep us on schedule. It's not a timer. It's a noisemaker.
This is what I'm gonna buzz, George, if I get bored of what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I like how you put it over there, so I can't.
Out of reach of you.
Yeah. But we do have one more question. Somebody says it was only 3 amps, and one of the nice things about this only being 3 amps, the Webcaster, is that you can do mobile stuff and plug a battery in and operate it on the go.
So you can actually run this off of like a battery bank that you would use to charge your cell phone.
Like a $30 Amazon.
Yeah. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put a link. We've got some tests that we did with a battery bank. The thing you need to make sure is, and what I would recommend, is that if you are going to use a battery bank, use one that supports a 3 amp output. If you're using a 2.4 amp output, you might have issues with Webcaster rebooting. So 3 amp is the way to go if you're going to run it off of a battery bank. I'll include some notes in the video description afterwards, after we're done the stream, to link you to battery banks that we've tested.
Okay, here we go. First one. Let's see.
Okay, 25 things we've learned in 25 episodes.
First one is build an audience by sharing your video in groups. So on Facebook, if you share your live video in groups, you're going to get the attention of all those people who are part of that group. And you can join all kinds of groups. So it's a really quick way to build up an audience. Buzz myself out.
Okay, what do we got here? don't trust Facebook or YouTube to automatically publish your streams on time.
Oh yeah, we've learned that one the hard way.
You might have to go in and publish on your own, as they don't always go live when they say they will. So
you set up an event, it's supposed to go live at 3 o'clock. Sometimes 3 o'clock comes and goes, and nothing went live.
And it doesn't
and you
start.
have to panic, and you see people running around behind you, and you wonder why they're running around. It's because you're not live.
So on YouTube, there's a live control room. So if your stream is supposed to automatically go live, sometimes it doesn't. You just have to actually click to make it go live.
Yeah. Okay.
We've learned that the hard way.
So stop fidgeting and making noises. I've been told this many times to not tap on the desk. Because the mic picks it up really loud, and
I actually just noticed that the stool I'm sitting on right now is
squeak.
Oh, now it goes away, of course.
Yeah,
but
it was really noisy.
It was squeaking before, so.
But those noises that you don't notice in real life, on video they tend to be amplified. So.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Reference monitors are a double-edged sword. You'll want to stare at them the whole time.
Yeah.
Make your camera. Hey, Lisa, can we switch to our webcaster? I'm just going to show you guys. We're going to turn the camera around here, so. I don't know if you guys can see, but we've got, oh wait, I'll switch the layout here, tab.
There's our reference monitor.
So you see our tripod over there. Our camera is on top, but you can barely see it because we're just using the Sony A6300, but underneath it, there's a reference monitor, and that's how we actually see what's happening on the stream. We can see our stream live and make sure that, you know, we're framed correctly and in focus, and helps us to sort of know what's happening.
So the problem is it's such a big, beautiful monitor right below the camera. We tend to stare at the monitor, and our eyes are not always on camera.
Yeah. So you want one thing with a live stream is you want to make sure the eye lines are correct, and when they're not quite right, you know, you might run into issues where it looks you have some awkward eye lines.
Did I do the last one? Oh, this is the one I can. Oh yes, you will steal your colleagues' equipment. So when we're setting up this live show, we need about 37 pieces of equipment, and usually one breaks. So we run around and borrow, steal.
Yusufa's on vacation this week, so I took
Don't come back, Yusufa. We
don't tell. I hope he's not watching, but I
Yeah.
stole a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I stole this GoPro from him. So
So it's just be warned.
what do we got here? Don't let Facebook re-encode your video. Their transcoding sucks. Send a 720 feed to Facebook for best results. So when you are sending your feed to Facebook, Facebook actually does not stream at any resolutions higher than 720p, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if you send a 1080p signal up to Facebook, Facebook's going to down convert it to 720p, and their down conversion, not so great.
Yeah, the results are not as good. I tried sending a 4K stream up today, and
Did it work?
It added a ton of buffering, so it was really slow. Like it was constantly chugging along, trying to transcode it. So transcode it yourself. No. Okay. Have a device or screen nearby that you can use to monitor your stream and see comments and interact with your audience. So in this case, we have Pearl running, and I have this laptop set up here so that I can see that Brand Vision Media just said nice stream, and Gary said he has the Logitech 922, and it works like he works with his Webcaster. So we get to see this stuff live.
Yeah.
So
another cool thing with Webcaster is if you are using an external monitor like this, you can see your viewer comments.
that's true.
And it's so important because that's what live streaming is really all about, is that interaction and building a community around your content. Responding to comments and monitoring chat is the best way to do that.
Yeah.
Is it me or you? It's my turn.
Sure.
Okay. Budget extra time for audio. Audio will consume about half of your time. Beware.
We always forget to spend as much time. We think we're almost there. We're ready to go. It's like an hour before the show, and then suddenly we have to deal with audio, and we're back to square one. So we've kind of got it figured out now, but early days, boy, we had a lot of stuff like room noise and just getting everything set up right and configured properly always takes a lot of time.
Yeah, just budget time for audio.
Yeah.
It's important. It's you. The magical green bucket.
I know. Know your network. Test your upload speed to ensure you have consistent bandwidth. So test it the day before your show, but test it again on that day because it's going to dip and it's going to change. And you might have 15 megabits of upload speed one day, and the next day you might have 9. So it's kind of important to know how that fluctuates. And you might see time of day fluctuations as well. So just know it.
Yeah. Comments have a short shelf life. Get to it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So if you have the ability to interact with your audience live, obviously do it live. But if there's a reason why maybe you can't, go right after the show and look at the comments, respond to them, reply to them. That's how you build a community around your videos, and that's how you build your audience and have a lot more fun doing live streaming.
Yeah, because half these things that we're talking about in these comments, like, they're not going to be that interesting after the show, so do it now. Use on-screen text. People watch your video on mute. So on Facebook particularly, so many people are just scrolling their timeline and they see it. So like at the beginning of our show,
Lisa, why don't you throw up our layout?
We always make sure we put the title on screen so people can
just
before clicking into the video, they can at least see what it's about.
Yeah,
so we try to use a little bit of on-screen.
That's why
text.
we use this sort of layout at the beginning of our episode, because a lot of people who get it in their newsfeed right at the beginning of the stream,
they see two people on screen.
They may be scrolling past quickly. Maybe they don't have their audio turned on. This makes it really easy to tell what our stream is all about without any sound being required.
A little aggressive, sorry.
Okay. Breath mints, tight spaces with lots of people. That's why we. You want one?
Yeah, I do want one.
Okay. Breath mint for you.
Yeah.
Breath mint for me.
This looks like a comfortable distance, but it's
these are Epiphan branded breath mints, the finest that you can get in the northern hemisphere.
Come visit us at a trade show.
Yeah,
you may see them.
If you visit us at a trade show, you'll get some of these.
It's the only way. We will not send them to you. Okay. Try to keep your setup as simple as possible. This is a rule we break every single week.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Because we want to go 4K and we want to do camera inception stuff. So don't follow us. Keep your one camera setup. It's great.
Sometimes when you add that one extra component to your live streaming setup, you don't realize the ripple effect that
it's
can
like a
create.
house of cards. That's what it feels like every week, and you take one out and the whole thing.
So we were trying to add a reference monitor today, and the monitor we were using was giving us problems, and we thought that it was our device, but it wasn't our device. It was just the monitor, and we spent a lot of time trying to figure out.
Two switchers and
it was a nightmare, and all just for a monitor. We should have just kept it simple and used the monitor we were using before. Dummy accounts. Set up backup accounts and do complete testing of your streams. So that's actually what I'm doing right here with the Webcaster. Is I've got like just a private YouTube account, and that's where I do all of these streams when I'm testing, and that way I can go back onto the account, look at the videos afterwards, see what worked, what didn't, and I don't have to worry about my entire audience having to discern whether my stream is a test stream or a real stream.
Theoretically, like, they all have events that you can set up and you can preview your stream, but it's still not quite the same as seeing a real stream published, going live, and then you can actually log out of that account and log back into your regular account and look at it as though you're just a regular person and not the administrator, because things happen.
Yeah, you can also try viewing your stream on different devices. Like, take a look at what it looks like on a cell phone versus a laptop. Maybe that great shot that you had framed up looks really great on your 24-inch monitor, but then when you look at it on a 5 or 6-inch cell phone, it's too small, and you really should have been zoomed in more. So test.
So a couple of questions about Webcaster. We'll get to those in a minute. We're almost done these tips. The topics get easier as you do more shows. So when we first started this show, everybody behind the curtain here knows we struggled to come up with topics, but now every week they seem to come easier because people like you comment and let us know what you want to see. So it gets easier.
Oh, this is a good one. Show titles are hard.
The worst.
Every week when we're preparing for this live stream, we spend about 10 minutes having a brainstorming session trying to come up with.
Usually we have like 3 topics that we're talking about, and we try to mash them into one encapsulating topic that consists of 4 words that's going to work, and it never does, so you end up
The tricky thing is if you make your title too long, it becomes too long-winded. You need to be very direct with your title, and your YouTube and Facebook SEO, search engine optimization, will work much better with certain key terms. So honestly, my suggestion is to almost build your show around the title. That might be a good strategy.
You mentioned that today. Okay, 25 tips is a lot of tips. We're not doing this again. For show 50, forget about it.
Okay, we're almost through 25. Multi-publish, why not? So that's one of the things that we do here, and I don't know whether each of you are viewing on YouTube or Facebook, But if you're viewing on one or the other, try checking out the stream on the other platform.
Well, and for us, we're already publishing the show to one. Why wouldn't we publish to multiple platforms?
Yeah,
in fact, we've been talking about expanding it to a couple other platforms.
Yeah, it just increases your reach. So if you have the capability to stream to multiple destinations, why not do it?
Live video is more fun with two people. And it is. Dan tried doing this on his own. It
Oh,
wasn't any
shucks.
fun.
Yes. When you're just talking to yourself, it's awkward.
It is.
Okay, we've only got a few left. What does this say? Props are fun.
Whee! Okay. Start right away with live video. Placeholders stink. So when we first started, we would sometimes put up a placeholder that says the stream's going to start in about 3 minutes. And then in a Facebook timeline, you're scrolling, you see this live video, and all it says is like the video is going to start. So you kind of have to just jump right in and cut to it and do live video immediately. Otherwise, it doesn't work in a timeline kind of viewer. It's fine for YouTube, but not so great for social media.
The good thing with YouTube is if you have like a kind of a rocky start to your stream, you can always go in afterwards in the video demand and just trim that out using the built-in features in YouTube. Video enhancement features, you can trim the heads and tails of your stream. So if you had a rocky start or some awkwardness,
that's true.
You can always fix that later. So don't worry about just going live right away. Okay, what do we got here? Give yourself more time than you think before your stream begins. You know, I can't emphasize this enough, is that getting everything set up and organized and being sort of mentally prepared for your stream is very important. And the more time you give yourself, the less stressful it'll be, the more you'll be able to focus on creating great content.
Yeah, we're always panicking before the show. So.
Yeah, but we get into the studio here at about an hour before our stream goes live, and even that is almost not enough time
a little touch and go.
for this show. Yeah. So give yourself more time than you think.
So record your show locally. What I mean is record it on your camera or on an external recorder, because if you start streaming and you think you're streaming and you're not, you don't have it. It's gone. So you might as well record it locally, and then you have the VOD.
Yeah. And what is this? I think there's only 2 left.
No, there's...
Be consistent. Go live at a regular time, and this will help build a following.
Yeah, we always see the same people here every week.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have people return. It becomes a part of our routine, which makes it easier to produce the show, but it also becomes a part of your routine, we hope. And, you know, by going live at a consistent time, people know when you're going to be going live. They know what to expect. It's easier to market your stream and promote it, and just easier for people to find you when they're looking for you.
Your colleagues will steal your equipment.
Oh, your colleagues will steal your
So we will steal their equipment, and they will steal our equipment. It goes all around.
Yeah, equipment library.
There,
last one, what do we got here?
Yeah.
Have a friend monitor your live stream. That's a great tip, is, you know, get some people who are friends to jump onto your stream, because they're going to be there to support you, to tell you when your audio is out of sync.
They'll also tell you if you are streaming, because you could be sitting here chatting into nobody for half an hour, unless you have that nice friend who's going to come and say, by the way, start your stream.
Yeah, I mean, most people have at least one friend, right?
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry as much about trying to monitor it live and do a production at the same time. So it's helpful to have a friend.
Okay, and that's it.
Yeah.
25 tips from 25 episodes. We're really happy that you guys are here to celebrate the first 25 with us, and more to come.
So somebody asked if we can use a switcher that combines your feeds into an HDMI output with the Webcaster.
Great question. Okay, give me 1 second.
We tried. We went through this rabbit hole this morning, and we came up empty-handed because we have a switcher that does not work nicely, but it is like a $20 switcher.
Yeah, this is like a cheap switcher from Monoprice. It's like a $50 switcher, something like that, I think. So basically what you do is you can put in multiple HDMI sources, and then there's one HDMI master output. And the test that I was trying to do was to run multiple HDMI cameras into a switcher and then into Webcaster, so that we could switch using one of these. This one actually comes with a remote. And I had really high hopes for it working, but unfortunately with these cheap switchers, what happens is there's kind of a handshake that happens over HDMI. And what happens is the signal actually cuts out for about 4 seconds
for any kind of
when it
new
does
signal.
the switch. Yeah.
Okay.
So what would happen with Webcaster is your stream would actually go to like
No signal.
a black no signal screen
Right.
for about 4 seconds every time you switch sources. the same way like when you switch your inputs on your television, it takes a minute until the new input starts. That's what's going to happen with these. So if you want to do like, you know, multi-camera switching, you actually need to invest in like a professional grade switcher, which is, you know, probably for most people spending $299 on a Webcaster might be more expensive than what you'd want to spend.
It might be. We kind of need to find that out too, and we'll do some more research on that and come up with some real answers on how you might do switching with a Webcaster outside of these USB solution we showed today.
In the meantime, I mean, the USB webcam makes a nice second camera. If you get yourself a somewhat decent webcam, might do the trick for you. The other thing is, if you're switching between multiple HDMI sources, remember that Webcaster, it only has one HDMI input, so your audio is also coming through HDMI as well.
So it has to insert the audio into that same
so if you're
HDMI
switching
feed.
between multiple HDMI feeds, you're also switching between those audio sources, which may not
somebody
be ideal.
asked us, it looks like a dumb switch.
That's correct.
And that's what we found out today,
It
too.
It is.
They said, what if it was a switcher scaler? Would that not maintain the signal out? The answer is, I don't know. We'll find out, and we'll put it in the comments there. Maybe some of our team here will
Should be
reply to that.
possible. We'll do some more research for you, and we'll reply to your comment.
Yeah. And somebody else asked if we have a cheap encoder that supports MPEG TS. And again, I don't know, but there's a lot of people watching this, so they'll pay attention.
Yeah, well, any questions that we can't answer here live on the stream, we have a technical team supporting us, and they will reply to your content after the show.
They're watching this. Yeah. There's another guy named Scott Burrow who has a Webcaster public group on Facebook. It says, come join it. So that's cool. You can go there and share your stories about it.
Yeah, Scott had mentioned that, and we're going to make sure to link to that Webcaster X2 Facebook group for you guys if you want to join it. Great way to interact with other people who maybe have Webcasters and learn some best practices.
So, send us your streams. We want to do that show next week where we're going to evaluate your streams.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Send us your streams. If you have a Webcaster, send us some photos of like what you're doing with your Webcaster.
Yeah, we'd love to see that.
We're pretty proud of it. We think it's a great device, especially for the price. But we send them out into the world, and we don't always know what people are actually using them for.
Yes.
And we've seen some pretty cool things that people have been doing with it.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to share some of those cool things with the audience. So send us your streams. You can email us at live@epiphan.com or just put a comment into one of these videos.
Speaking of around the world, we are going to be doing some traveling, and we're going to be in Amsterdam at IBC. So if you want to talk to us there, send us a note.
That's next week, September 14th to 19th. Yep. We'll have some of our team in Amsterdam at IBC.
We'll be at NAB in New York in October on the 19th. We'll have a booth there set up with all of our stuff. So if you really want to try out our things, go to New York and go to NAB.
And we also have a live stream that we wanted to promote that's coming up later in the month, September 28th. And it's actually IBM and Photo Joseph, who is a live streaming expert. They're going to be doing an in-depth discussion about professional live streaming. And we think it's going to be a really great live stream with lots of great interaction. We're going to be on there because we think it's going to be a lot of good information, and we just wanted to promote it to you guys as well. So we put a link in the video description on YouTube that you can go and register for the IBM and Photo Joseph live stream. It's happening on September 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern. So you can watch a full hour of that live stream, learn all kinds of great tips, and then come here and join us on our show at 3 o'clock and share some of those tips with us.
Somebody else asked us about Webcaster. Sorry, interrupted you. They want to know if it has a hot shoe mount, and that's another one. Another issue we want to cover when we cover all the things you can do with Webcaster is how to mount it properly, because it does not have a hot shoe mount.
Yeah.
But we've been looking at some brackets and other kind of things that you could buy to economically mount it to whatever kit you're working with.
I was on Amazon actually looking at hot shoe mounts that are designed to hold a tablet above your computer, and they have adjustable sizing. So I'm going to try to find one that works nicely with Webcaster. If you find one, let us know about it. But definitely agree, there's a lot of people who want to be able to mount this on their camera. We've seen some ingenious ways that people have done it with Velcro. I'm going to try to find something that works with a hot shoe, and we'll let you guys know once we find it. But if you find something, let us know, please.
Oh, we're getting there's venting on the bottom, so you do have to be careful to make sure that you let the heat escape.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be covering up these vents because your Webcaster will overheat.
Explode. No, we don't know that.
It won't explode.
Yeah. So I think that's about it for the show.
Yes.
Really, we're going to talk about
Yeah.
next week. We got the show coming up where we're going to review your shows.
Yes.
Send us your comments. Send us your feedback. Thanks for all the chat on YouTube and Facebook today. It kind of makes things interesting for us to see what you're interested in.
Yeah, and next week, like we said, we're going to be reviewing some streams, so send us your streams, or if there's live streams that you actually enjoy watching and consuming, send them our way, because we're going to sort of review some really professional live streamers who are doing a really great job, and we're going to share some of the things that they're doing well. So if you have live streams that you enjoy watching, send them to us. We'd love to check them out. That's how we all get better at what we do.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, that's it. See you next week.
See you later, guys. So long.